ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtottara Shata Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 18, text number 20. Etavatalam nanu suchitena gunera samyanasti sayanasya hitvetaran pratharayato vibhutir hitvetaran prarthayato vibhutir yasyangri renum jusate nabhisho etavadalam nanu suchitena gunera samyani asamyanti shayanasya hitvetaran prarthayoto vibhutir hitvetaran prarthayoto vibhutir yasyangri renum jusate nabhisho
etavatalam nanu suchitena
etavatalam nanu suchitena gunera samyanti shayanasya hitvetaran prarthayo vibhutir yasyangri renum jusate nabhisho etavatalam nanu suchitena gunera samyanati sayanasya hitvetaran prarthayato vibhuti yasyangri renum jusate nabhisho. Word for word, etavata, so far, alam, unnecessary, nanu, if at all, suchitena, by description, gune, by attributes, asamya, immeasurable, anatishayanasya, of one who is unexcelled, hitva, leaving aside, itaran, others, prarthayataha, of those who ask for, vibhuti, favor of the goddess of fortune, yasya, one whose, angri, feet, renu, dust, jusate, serves, anabhipsho, one who is unwilling. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. It is now ascertained that He, the personality of Godhead, is unlimited and there is none equal to Him. Consequently, no one can speak of Him adequately. Great demigods cannot obtain the favor of the goddess of fortune even by prayers, but this very goddess renders service unto the Lord, although He is unwilling to have such service. Purport. The personality of Godhead, or the Parameshvara, Parabrahman, according to the Shrutis, has nothing to do. He has no equal, nor does anyone excel Him. He has unlimited potencies, and His every action is carried out systematically in His natural and perfect ways. Thus the Supreme Personality of Godhead is full in Himself, and He has nothing to accept from anyone else, including the great demigods like Brahma. Others ask for the favor of the goddess of fortune, and despite such prayers, she declines to award such favors. But still she renders service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although He has nothing to accept from her. The Personality of Godhead in His Garbhodakashai Vishnu feature begets Brahma, the first created person in the material world, from his navel lotus stem and not in the womb of the goddess of fortune, who is eternally engaged in His service. There are some of the instances of His complete independence and perfection. That He has nothing to do does not mean that He is impersonal. He is transcendentally so full in inconceivable potencies that simply by His willing, everything is done without physical or personal endeavor. He is called therefore Yogeshwara, or the Lord of all mystic powers. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for coming this morning. I was supposed to be sitting on the other side today, but somehow tables have turned. So, yeah, I'm on the opposite side. So, well, hopefully I'll be able to speak something to glorify Srimad Bhagavatam without preparation today. So, hopefully please forgive me if I say something that is not related to the topic, because I have no previous preparation for today's class. So first of all, I'd like to ask for blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas and blessings of Prabhupada. Hopefully I'll be able to speak something relevant to the topic today. And it's a very nice purport. I was just reading while you guys were listening. So it says that personality of Godhead has got unlimited powers. We all know that, right? Right. We all know that, right? Yeah. Just checking. So everyone knows that Supreme Personality of Godhead has got unlimited powers. So oftentimes people ask this question, like, can God do this or can He do that? He can do everything. There's nothing in the world that He cannot do. That's why He's called unlimited. If Krishna is not unlimited, that means He's not God. Anything that cannot do everything, that's not classified as God. The definition of God means that a person who can do anything and everything, is not bound to any personal beings or anyone's individual thinkings, We are limited. We should all know that, because we are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, We are minute quantity. Quality, we are same. Quantity, we are less. That's what Prabhupada explains. So we should try and remember that always, because usually we forget, I remember when I was a kid, I would always dream, like in the daydream, like sitting in the class, I would see like, if something happens now, there's an earthquake or there's like a light that falls off, who am I going to save, I'm only going to save these few people, that I like, and I'll not save these other people. But Krishna is not like that, Krishna saves everyone. Because everyone is part and parcel of Krishna. And Krishna is non-envious. Krishna doesn't envy nobody. Can we turn the volume down a little? Thank you, Prabhu. Krishna is non-envious to everyone. Krishna says it in Bhagavad Gita. Name dveshyosti na priya. I envy no one, nor I am partial to anyone. So, Krishna, we should remember that everyone is part and parcel of Krishna. So it's very good to know that, and we should try and find our way back to Godhead by surrendering to Krishna. Because without surrender, it's very difficult. Like I remember, I used to read a lot of crime stories and movies and all these, like fiction movies, crime and all that stuff. So, when there is a thief cannot be caught by the police. A thief can only be caught and can only go back, if he only surrenders, Otherwise, it's very difficult. If a police is trying to catch a thief, and that thief is making too much drama, then what will the cops do? They will just shoot him, The easiest way for the thief is to surrender if you have made a mistake. So we should remember that we have made a mistake by choosing material birth. This is a big mistake. I don't know about you, but I definitely feel it's a big mistake because it's a source of suffering, dukhalayam, place of suffering, place of misery, and we all probably know that. If you haven't known, then you're probably living in the wrong place. I would suggest you go to live in a place like America or India. You'll probably see a lot of suffering over there. So we should remember that suffering will come and go because it's a temporary material world. But the point is to remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. Because once you are connected to Krishna, this bodily suffering are very minute, doesn't make big effect. We have seen examples or we have known stories of people who have done that, who have had many major bodily sufferings or health problems or mental problems, but they still perform devotional service to the Supreme Lord, And even in Prabhupada's example, when Prabhupada was going to the West, on his way he had 2 heart attacks on the ride, major health sufferings. He did not just stop there, he did not just say, oh no, my health's not good anymore, I should go back, no point going to a place which I don't know. No, he did not think that, because he had a plan, he had a goal, and he had desire to fulfill his spiritual master's desire. That should be the desire of a person or a disciple. A great disciple is known by how well he is surrendered to the Guru. Are we surrendered to our Guru on that level? That is the question we should ask ourselves. Are we doing our duty properly to participate in this beautiful movement of Lord Chaitanya? So, Prabhupada felt a lot of problems, faced a lot of struggles, but he had one goal. Is what Krishna Prema give everyone. And Prabhupada used to say that I have the key to the back door, So I'll take you from the back door. Because in Kali Yuga, it's very difficult to perform bhakti. And if you don't know this, you should check it in India. In India, bhakti is very much mixed with material goals and material desires, Like everyone, I remember my own family, for example, when I was growing up, they would go to temple and my mom or my dad will ask me to pray to God to get me good grades, or to get me a good bike, all these material goals. My parents will ask me, if they can't buy me, they'll ask me to pray to God so they can get me, I'm like, this doesn't make any sense, why I gotta keep asking for God, But my mom said that God is very forgiving, God will fulfill all desires, which is true. Krishna does fulfill all desires, but in a way that we don't ask for it again, So we should remember that a desire of a true devotee or a true person is not asking or begging for material gains. The only thing he asks for is true devotional service, that is called love, true love, That's what love means. What is love? Someone was asking me yesterday on book distribution, what is your definition of love? I'm like, not sure, I never loved anyone, I'm trying to love someone. So he said, so what do you think love means, So I was just telling him that, well, based on our tradition, love is to surrender and to serve without personal motivation. Atnya bhilashita shunyam. No other desire other than service. Everything else, any other material desire for personal sense gratification is not love, We have known stories from these literatures and famous texts that when a person is in love with another person, he fully surrenders. He can't do anything else. He can't perform any other activity without thinking of that person. We see that movies, right? Especially the Bollywood movies, they portray it in the best possible manner what love is, So, when someone is falling in love, he can't think of anything else. He's very possessive, All he meditates upon throughout the day is the person he's falling in love with. So we should remember that we will leave this body one day, and the person will also leave that body one day. What is the ultimate goal? So we should try to love the one who has created us all, the one who is maintaining this whole cosmic manifestation, That's the ultimate goal. So Prabhupada says in this purport that great demigods cannot obtain the favor of goddess of fortune even by prayers, but this very goddess renders service unto the Lord. It's a very beautiful point, We all pray for material boons and material benedictions, but at the end, this material benediction is surrendering service to the Supreme Lord, So, has anyone ever asked for material gain or boon, or is it just me? Sorry, I just had to say that line. So, we should not do that. It's not very ideal or very much recommended in the bhakti philosophy to ask for material desires. Even if you have material desires, Krishna will always take care. Krishna will take care. So you should not think too much or focus too much on that front. And let Krishna, if you cannot perform in a certain way, just leave it. Take care. Our main goal is to focus on the service, because our service is the most important to go back to Godhead. Because Krishna says himself that nothing can be obtained. He cannot be bought. Krishna says that I can only be bought through devotional service, If a person is performing devotional service with love, I belong to that person, So we should remember that. If we want to serve Krishna in true possible way, if we really want to love Krishna, we should perform service. A devotee once told me, once when I was new, I would living in the ashram and I would have little quarrels, with other people, because I'm coming from my material karmic background and they're carrying their own baggage. So everyone's coming, together. Prabhupada used to say that when you put different pots together in the kitchen, they make sound, But again, we should remember that all these pots are being used to serve the Supreme Lord, for a higher purpose. So just because of those sound, we should not stop working. The sounds will always be there. So I remember when I was new, I was having a bit of trouble dealing with the devotees. Sometimes there will be this and that, and someone will try to tell me what to do, and I'm like, I don't want you to tell me what to do. So all these things can happen sometimes, but we should remember that no one here is perfect. We are all trying to serve the Supreme Lord, and we are doing it for the higher cause. So there must be a little quarrels, and the best way to deal with it is to do service together. That's what I was told by a very senior devotee who's sitting right here. So he told me, if you're having troubles with another devotee, the best thing to do is do service together. And I tried that. I tried doing service, but sometimes it's still very difficult. So in Rupa Goswami, Nectar of Instruction lays out the principles, how to have a good association with devotees. What are the principles? What are the guidelines? Dadati pratigranati goyam akhyati prichati bhunkte bhojayate cheva sadvidi priti lakshanam. So there are 6 loving exchanges between a devotee and another, which is also practical in the material world. I tell that to people who I see, that if you want to have a loving relationship with someone, these are the 6 activities you should perform. So dadati pratigranati, which means that offering gifts in charity and accepting charitable gifts, one should give gifts, we can see that in normal material world, we all give gifts to people, as a sign of love, as an expression of love, and we accept what other person gives us, Has anyone ever been gifted before, or is it just me? Yeah, everyone here? Okay. So it's good to get gifts. It feels nice when someone gives you something, and it feels nice to give it back to someone. and that's called an exchange of love. And we should do that with devotees as much as possible. We should give them as much as our capabilities are, and we should take something back if they give us. One should not refuse. That's the Dati Pratigranati. Then Guyam Akyati Prichati, which means revealing one's mind in confidence and listening confidentially. So another good point about love is that we should reveal our mind to another person that we love. And we should listen to what the other person is revealing to us. It's not usually, as I gave this example, that in my previous karmic times, I had friends, who will just call me and share all their troubles, because I was a good listener. But I really did not want to listen, all that drama, because it was so mundane knowledge, nothing to live for. I'm like, why am I listening to that? So I'll just put the phone on hold and go for a walk and come back, and they're still speaking, So this is, one should not just be a good speaker, one should also listen, Listening is a good habit. So if someone is revealing their mind, we should not act like we are very disengaged or we are very disinterested in a devotee. If devotees revealing their mind to us. But we should remember that we should only reveal the mind to a suitable person, We should not just go around telling everyone about what's in my head, because no one really cares and no one is affected by that. So if you're having troubles in some service or something, then you should go speak to the senior or a supervisor who has the authority, who has the knowledge, who has the power, to help you. If you say that to someone who's just very new, Bhakta, for example, and then he will not really help you with bhakti, how to still grow spiritually, because he doesn't have that right knowledge, what to help you with. So help can only come when you have the right knowledge. You cannot give something that you don't have. So we should remember that. We should only give. If you cannot help a person in a certain way, you should just be honest and say, I don't know what to say, rather than making up some own concocted idea about how to deal with this situation. So this is another point, the Dadi Pratigranati Guyama Kyati Prichati. The next one is Bhunkte Bhojayate Cheva. That's the best one, which means that taking prasad and giving prasad. So there's exchange of love. And this is usually the most common one devotees follow. So I did that a lot. When I was having troubles, all I do is like cook, some nice halwa or some nice prasad and offer it to another person. They will take it. They'll like, the best thing about prasad is it can mellow down any situation, How worse the situation is, prasad is the key to success, Prasadam can mellow down any situation you're in, If you're having troubles with another person, I would just recommend go out and have a dinner together. Just take prasad together. And that's it. Everything will be arranged and sorted. But sometimes, the problem keep coming. That means you cook more prasad and give more prasad, So, Bhunkte Bhojayate Cheva. That means take prasad. If someone's giving you prasad with love, you respect it and accept it. If you feel love for someone, you give them respect and you offer exchange. And Bhunkte Bhojayate Cheva. So these are the 6 principles of love between two devotees that we should remember. So, yeah, and it's a very beautiful point. And another one that's mentioned over here, that it is now certain that the personality of Godhead is unlimited and there is none equal to Him. So there's often time explained in India that Prabhupada has mentioned this many times in his purport, that in India there's a lot of people that claim to be God. These fake gurus and sadhus who claim that I am God, They perform this magic tricks, that's what I call it, those illusory tricks to mess with people's head and say that I am the God, see, I am done some amazing stuff. Even a magician can do that, that doesn't mean magician is God. We all know, an intelligent person knows a magician is just performing a trick. It's just a trick. He's just trying to trick because he's just making us focus on one thing and he's doing something else from the other. So that's just a trick. That is not a God activity. If you can't ask a person to produce a river or, produce sunlight or produce sun. You can't. No one can do that. No one is conceivable in this material world to do that. Only Krishna can do that, the Supreme Personality. Because everything is owned and controlled by the Supreme Lord. Ishavashyamidam sarvam. Right, that's the one. Ishavashyam sarvamidam. That everything is owned and controlled by the Supreme Lord. And we should remember that. That Krishna is controlling everything. We often, Prabhupada explained in the purport of that one, that usually there are people that claim that I have built such a beautiful thing, For example, they built a tower, They built this big tower like Westfield Tower. Is that the biggest one over here? The one in the city? The Sky Tower? Yeah, that's the biggest one. So they claim I have built such a beautiful thing. But assembling few things together, which is already there, is not called building. It's not called constructing something new. It's called assembling, If you produce something and I just put it together, I am not the one who built that. It's already there. I just put it together, So we should remember that all the bricks, all the, things required like water and anything else, which is needed, the natural resources are nothing built. It's already there. We just put it together and claim that this is what I have produced, Which you really not have produced. You just have compiled it together to produce something that you say, this is mine, If Krishna takes that away, then you cannot produce anything. So we should remember that everything is controlled and owned by the Supreme Lord, and we should give it back to Krishna as an offering of love, Prabhupada says there is nothing in the world that we cannot use for Krishna's service. Whatever there is, a telephone, a typewriter, we can all use for Krishna's service. But one needs to be intelligent what he needs to use in Krishna's service and how to use it. Like there's a very funny pastime where Prabhupada was walking through with the devotees on morning walk somewhere in America, and Prabhupada saw this big house, they came across this big house, mansion type house. And Prabhupada says, one day we will have a house like that for Krishna. And devotees were like, Jai Prabhupada, and they walked a little ahead. Prabhupada saw this beautiful car, He said, one day we will have a car like that for Krishna. And devotees were like, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, And Prabhupada was like, they just walked ahead. And little ahead, they came across a very nice garden or something like that, They said, one day we will have a garden like that for Krishna. And devotees were like, Jai Prabhupada, Jai, the glorification just doubled. And then everyone just kept saying that. And Prabhupada went a little ahead with the walk, and he saw this dog, He said, one day we will have a dog like that for Krishna. And everyone was like, Jai Prabhupada. They're like, what? What are we going to do with the dog, we don't need that dog. So devotees should use intelligence, what cannot be used in Krishna's service. Everything can be used, but you should know how to use it, and you should find the best way to use it in Krishna's service. So, yeah, that's a beautiful point, and we should try and remember that. So, anything can be used in Krishna's service. So, Prabhupada used anything, like when the voice recorder that you use. Prabhupada was using this recorder, which was very new at that time, for Krishna's service. He said, we can use anything for Krishna's service, And there was a lot of reporters who would ask Prabhupada that, how do you get the money, Like, where do you get all the money from to all do your traveling and activities? And Prabhupada says, we can use all the money in the world for the right purpose, but unfortunately you don't give us any money, so it becomes very difficult. So Prabhupada's mission is to spread Krishna consciousness throughout the world, not just Indians should take up Krishna consciousness. That wasn't the goal of Prabhupada, but we usually see that now somehow society is going in that direction, So we should go out there and preach to the fruits who are like high-hanging fruits, for whom it is very difficult to come to Krishna consciousness. My Guru Maharaj explains that it's easy to grab the low-hanging fruits, who are very fortunate souls to have been, introduced. But what about the ones that have become very difficult, who have no concept or experience of this philosophy? How are we going to save them? Like the Western outreach. So the outreach is very important, and I would recommend everyone to spend a little time doing that service of book distribution, because once you are distributing books, that is the best form of preaching. Prabhupada says, what can you really seize to talk to a person in 2 minutes of your interaction to make them Krishna conscious? But if they take a book, it's very likely that they will become Krishna conscious, Even by reading one page, they can become Krishna conscious. So our job is to act as the postie of our Guru and let Prabhupada do the preaching, But one should remember, we should not force, or we should not, do things that will make a new person feel that, oh no, I don't want to be a part of this, Then Krishna will become very unhappy with us, If someone is coming to Krishna and we don't take care of that person, that's not very pleasing to Krishna. So Prabhupada used to give this story where Prabhupada was saying, if a guest walks in, and there's only a pujari in the temple doing his seva, then the pujari should leave and attend the guest. Because Krishna will be more pleased when you attend the guest rather than doing his worship. Because it's a new guest, he's coming for the first time to Krishna. And we should take care of him. We should give him love, affection, give him some prasad, have some nice exchange with him, so he can cultivate this devotional seed, the bhakti lata bij, Because in Shastra it says that sadhu sangha sarva shastra koye lava matra sadhu sangha sarva siddhi hoy. Just by a little association, a minute of association with a pure devotee can elevate a person to spiritual consciousness and can help him develop that seed of bhakti lata, which is very true. That is why the other day I was thinking, why were the first few people created in the world were in the form of sages and munis, Narada, Vashishta, Angira, and many other sages. Why were these the first people created by Brahma? The reason is so that we all can learn. Because these people have the knowledge and the skill to show the path, to show the direction, the right direction to all the people in the world, And we can follow and learn from them, rather than concoct and speculate our own philosophy and, trying to figure out why am I here, Like there's a famous example that if you're in a well, right, if you're stuck in a well, you don't just stay in the well thinking that, why am I here? How did I get here, I can't remember. Why am I here? Oh, how did I get here? You know you're in a well and you're stuck, so the first thing you do is to try to get out, That's the first instinctive reaction. You just try to get out of that well, because forget about everything else, Just get out of there. If someone's giving you a rope, you just take the rope and get out. You don't ask the person who's helping you, like, no, first I want to figure out how did I get here. I don't want your rope until I figure out what am I doing here, That's not the point. You missed out the whole goal, If someone's offering you help, you take that help and get out of that well. So this is a well of material suffering and material existence, which by the mercy of the Guru in Lord Chaitanya, we have had this opportunity to get out of this material world and go back home. Our real home, the spiritual home, is Goloka Vrindavan, to be with our true happy nature and the happy person, which is Krishna, who's always happy. Krishna is never sad. So we should always remember that, and we should do anything and everything possible in our control to perform little service. Because I heard by the gurus that Krishna never forgets, Krishna will never forget. Even a little service you performed, even if a person on book distribution somehow gave like $1, that's also service. Krishna appreciates that, and Krishna loves that he's performed a little service. And one day or another, he'll get a benefit of that, doing service for the Supreme Lord. You don't get the same benefits if you do service for demigods, which is not the highest goal. If you do, so for example, if you perform service to an employee in a company, there'll be little benefit, There'll be little benefit that you may know a person. So if you need something, you'll have to ask him, and he may or may not do that. But if you want the highest result, you do service for the president or the owner of the company, and that's the highest goal. Then you can get whatever you want in that company, because you know the highest person. the most supreme authority of that company. So things become very easy because all he has to do is just make a phone call, tell this guy, okay, this is my friend, sitting here. And I want him happy, so give him whatever he wants, so he'll take care of it. So that's just how Krishna works as well, if you want something, just let Krishna take care, Krishna will sort it out. Don't worry about it. Just do your service and stay connected to Krishna. Because problems come in life, this is the line that I made up to use for Hindi preaching in India when I was preaching. So I would tell them that problems come in life when you forget God, One should... In today's time, everyone knows God, but no one really knows about God, So you should try to do a little endeavor to understand and really know what Krishna is all about, We know that there is God, Many people you see in India, they know, I know there is God. That's all they know. They don't want to know anything else. So we should make a little endeavor to try and read Krishna Katha and engage and engage our senses in Krishna Katha. All our senses can be beautifully engaged, So we should try and do as much as possible. It's a busy world, and we all have busy things to do, like making money in a hard place like Sydney is sometimes very difficult. So we should take a little time out, a little opportunity to perform seva, because otherwise you can read as many books, you can do as much as you like, but you'll miss out on the ultimate goal, which is devotional service. Because devotional service is very beautiful, Once you get the taste of devotional service, you will see how beautiful it is, But in the beginning, it's important to do it as a practice. Because I often explain to people that motivation is not always there. Motivation comes and goes. So you need discipline for that. That is how they train in army, In army, motivation is not always there. It's a hard, strict regime, So you need discipline. Discipline is very important because motivation can come and go, but discipline will not go. It will stick by. So you should be very disciplined. And performing devotional service is also like a little discipline. If you do a certain activity every time, you get more disciplined and very good at it. So you keep doing it more and more, Then that's how you start developing the taste of that particular activity. And we should do that. So I'll probably stop here, and if there's any questions, comments, or corrections, now is the time to speak. All right. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.